And this is a true event. 5 divers were suddenly sucked into a pipe the moment they opened the valve inside the diving chamber. The massive pressure difference between the inside and the outside created a black hole-like effect, pulling all of them in along with their equipment. Fortunately, they ended up in a higher area where the water hadn't completely filled the space, leaving a limited amount of oxygen to breathe. When they regained consciousness, they discovered that 2 of them had broken bones from the impact, while the others had lighter injuries. In total darkness and surrounded by a mixture of oil and seawater, the situation seemed hopeless. But someone said, "Rather than wait to die, let's try to escape," which reignited hope in the group. Despite the pain, they began crawling through the narrow pipe like a centipede. After an hour of effort, the group leader, Chris, noticed the water temperature was rising and that the path ahead would require diving. But without diving equipment and with 2 injured colleagues, such an attempt would have been extremely risky. Ultimately, Chris decided to move forward alone, promising that if he found a way out, he would return with help. As he swam through the narrow, dark passage, he could feel his air running out. Just when he felt like he was suffocating, his hand touched something, an oxygen tank. This gave him hope and he kept going. After another 30 minutes of swimming through darkness with the oxygen nearly depleted, luck smiled on him again. He found another oxygen tank. After an additional 20 minutes of effort, Chris felt the pipe slant upward. This was his chance. He swam with his last strength and finally managed to reach the surface. He screamed desperately for help. It had already been over 2 hours since the 5 had been pulled into the pipe. Their colleagues on the ship had noticed their absence and had started searching. Fortunately, they found Chris just in time. After being rescued, Chris begged them to immediately organize a rescue operation for the 4 friends still trapped. However, due to exhaustion, he fainted before receiving an answer. When he woke up in the hospital, his first question was about the others' condition. The answer he received made him explode with rage. The oil company had sent people to inspect the pipe, and through knocking on the walls confirmed that the 4 were still alive. However, the pipe was extremely narrow, and the only way to save them was to dismantle the entire section. But to avoid financial losses, the company's management decided to abandon the rescue operation. 5 days later, the company announced that all 4 had been declared dead. However, autopsies showed they had survived until the 4th day, dying in agony due to lack of oxygen. This tragedy could have been one of the greatest successful rescue operations, but because of financial interests, it became a heartbreaking catastrophe. The sole survivor, Chris, sued the company, but the trial was delayed for years. The trial date was only set for January 2025.